Hello everyone and welcome to our Hornby live Q&A. I'm Mike and today I'm joined by Martyn and Carl. Martyn, Carl, hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How's everyone doing at home? We hope you're doing well. We're obviously a day on from a big range launch, always a great way to start the day. And today I'm going to try and talk a little less than I did yesterday, so you won't have to listen to my voice as much as you did then. It got a little bit tired by the end of it. And yeah, I'm wearing a shirt as well today, just in case anyone was worried about whether I'd woken up and just done my intro. So thanks for joining me, and we're going to talk all about 2026. So firstly, how are we feeling about the launch?
Yeah, really positive. I think it seems to have gone down very well so far. I mean, we're a day in. You know, we've had kind of various emails and people contact us saying, you know, congratulations, it's great, etc. I love this, I love that. The only other real barometer we have, I suppose, of course, is always looking at social media comments, and the lion's share are positive. You know, there's always a kind of few questions and points which we do read and take on board. Can't correct and fix them all, but it's also potentially some ideas for the future. But no, generally positive.
Yep, I think there's a bit of everything for everyone in there, and I think, you know, you've got the real high-end stuff, really expensive models like the Clan line, but also we've also focused on the entry-level side of things to bring new people into the hobby. So
Yeah, there's definitely a lot this year.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have noticed that you know, there was a lot in there and a lot for different people, and I think that's a great way to go. And we've got lots of questions that we've had online already from Facebook and Instagram. We've got some people that are putting their questions in on live as well. So we're going to get to your questions. So keep putting them in. But I want to ask you both a few sort of questions just to lead us in a little bit. And you mentioned the Merchant Navy. Now, this was kind of one of our big hero items for this year. On the front of the catalogue there. If you haven't got your catalogue yet, available now, hornby.com. So why this? Why this now?
So, I mean, there's a couple of reasons to it. There's some sort of engineering and development bits which Carl will touch on. But so the reason for it is that, you know, we kind of, when we look back at kind of the history of sort of certain locomotives that we've done and what still needs to be done, and what we can do, and we also factor in how we've evolved things and how we can do new things, steam generator being an example of that. And we were looking at new things to do, and the subject came up of the Merchant. And then when we actually sort of spoke about it a bit further and went a bit deeper into it, and we then kind of found upon that we end up finding a little bit of a sort of a brand history lesson, really, where we were like, actually, no, that was like 25 years ago that we bought that out. And then we sort of looked a little bit deeper at the story behind it. We thought, actually, that was actually a really significant time in Hornby history. You know, we were just moving manufacturing to China. I think, you know, it was a known thing at the time. Obviously, sort of social media and things isn't what it is now. But, you know, people would have known. And, you know, I don't think a lot of people knew what to expect. You know, what would we get out of China? Because now we associate it with mass production. But the reality is what we ended up doing is getting kind of better engineering or developed engineering for a reasonable price. And I think if we'd have done a model at that specification in the UK at that time, you know, it would have been a frightfully humongous jump in retail prices of what prices have been at the time. So it ended up being quite an evolution. It was undoubtedly a massive evolution for Hornby as a brand. And I think definitely in the UK market, it probably did at that stage. I'm not going to say it set a standard, but it brought on change. And if we like fast forward to now and we look at the models that we're bringing out and the other manufacturers, I mean, we've all evolved so much, and that's because there is a demand for evolving. You know, people want to see innovation, they want to see improvements, and sometimes that's because there's a vacuum that people want it, and then sometimes it's a bit more of an innovation-led thing where we realise new ways of doing things. And manufacturing in the Far East has actually sort of probably elevated that even more. And we thought, well, actually, if we took this model, which we looked at our 25-year-old one, or 20 just over that now, you know, what would we do different now? And we've always, I mean, people might disagree, but we've always, that model has always had kind of quite a high regard for what it is. What would we do differently? And there were a number of things that we would do, which Carl will touch on in a bit. And it seemed like an absolute no-brainer for us to do. And also the fact with Clan line and the significance and the size of that as a locomotive, and it still goes around on mainline rail now, and you know, it's sort of very popular and sort of in the eye in the railway world at least. That was definitely sort of seen to be the way to go. And I mean, we've announced it here. It's on the front of the cover. It is our kind of main story, and that's where we've started. But that's also probably not where we'll stop. There are a kind of a couple of other locomotives which I think Hornby have become kind of quite famous for, and they're going to get the treatment next. You know, in the A3 and the West Country class as well. You know, they're sort of two locomotives that we put in that kind of similar space. So they're sort of, you know, they're in the process. So they're 3 to 6 months behind where we are with Merchant.
Nice. And Carl, obviously it's been very popular in the launch itself. Is it fully new tooled? Is part of it new tooled?
Okay,
People at
so
home want to know.
we actually started working on the rebuilt Merchant Navy around 4 years ago, I think. And when we initially started it, we actually looked at modifying the old tooling to try and bring it up to date. And we got into it, and there were so many little things that weren't quite right that in the end we sort of scrapped that and said, right, no, we've got to do this properly and start again from scratch. And we had a massive amount of help from the Merchant Navy Society, and you know, we spent a lot of time developing and designing this model and really including all the features and details that we wanted in the model to bring it right up to date and what we think people expect these days. So yeah, it's a special locomotive. It's a special locomotive to me. I've got a lot of history of this locomotive. Won't go into that, but yeah, I think it's going to be an absolutely fantastic model, and you know, the features this is going to have is going to be definitely the most feature-packed locomotive Hornby's ever produced, and hopefully this is the next level that Hornby aspires to in the future.
And in front of us, this is what type of sample have we got in front of us?
So this is a 3D printed prototype.
Yeah. I was going to say it's a funny colour. I've not
yeah.
seen that. I've not seen the loco in that colour. It doesn't come in that colour.
Yeah, these are just static 3D prints. We've also got working prototypes as well, and we use these static ones just to make sure the locomotive looks right in the flesh. You know, it's okay looking on a screen, but you know, to actually see it in 3D in the flesh, it's you need to with a project like this. But also we've got working prototypes which we're doing all the running testing, make sure the clearances are correct, and you know, it performs on the track as we want it.
And with a product like this, where you're putting in that extra detail, extra innovation, presumably it's obviously going to take a lot longer to produce that. So compared to maybe another, like, let's say a railroad, for example, where it's a bit less detailed, what difference is there in time to design that?
Yeah, so we got, well, the electronic, just alone the electronics in this is, you know, we're developing a new set of electronics for this locomotive which control the steam output and also all the lighting functions we're going to have in the model. So we're going to have a small microcontroller actually in the locomotive which controls all the lighting.
Oh, wow.
So we can reduce the number of connections between the tender and the locomotive itself. Because obviously the coder that controls them all is in the tender. So all of that side of things is yet to be developed, but so yeah, it will take longer than a normal locomotive for us to finish off.
Nice. And you're happy with the 3D print to start with?
Yeah, I think well, I'm really happy with it. You know, Steve, the designer's put a lot of time and effort into this, and you know, all the die-cast parts that are in there. It's gonna be a heavy old beast. It's gonna be really powerful. I can't really think how we'd improve it now.
And we've obviously talked quite a lot on various different videos about the process. So where will you go from now? What will be the next step in the project?
Now we're sort of tooling stage.
Yep.
We're just finalising a couple of small running issues, but then we're into tooling, and then hopefully very soon we'll have some parts to start testing with.
Nice. And obviously there are a lot of different locomotives in this year's range, so a lot of them have been popular, but the A4s have been a big part of this year's range. So we've got a few. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about what's in those new A4s?
Yeah, so I say a small modification. It's actually quite a big modification, because we've actually changed the chassis, we've actually changed the bodies, we've added sort of tender lighting and head code lighting. and also obviously all the steam generator parts that need to go in there to make it a steam generator model. So there's actually a lot that's happened to it. It won't look like that from outside, but insides it's quite different. So these steam generator models we can produce in die cast and plastic. I think all the main solo items are now die cast, which we'll be releasing steam generator wise. Again, you know, there's not much else we could add to this model now. It's good.
And obviously, with it being what 100, how many products did we announce? 100 and I want to say around 150.
I think it was.
let's say.
Yeah, I think it was around that mark. Yeah, and
How do you choose those? I always ask you this question, but how the bigger it gets, you kind of want to get those different people into the hobby. You want to do things like that.
yeah. So I mean, if we kind of talking specifically about Hornby, what you see in the catalogue, we start with the train sets really now, and we have to have a balanced train set range, and that is the entry point for people. So we've got some new train sets in there, but it's about having kind of covering subject matter and price points and content. So that's kind of where we start. And then when we shift on to railroad, we look at railroad kind of in two ways really. We look at, okay, so if someone has just bought this set, that set, that set, or that set, what might be their progressional journey? What would be the next thing based on either what goes with it? Maybe it doesn't have to be accurate to go with it if it's a sort of a younger kid. You know, they're not sort of precious on whether it's an LMS wagon and a BR wagon. You know, they're not kind of so worried about those things. It's a cattle wagon or it's just a wagon even. And then so you've got things that go with that. You know, another example of that would be the Mark III GWR coaches. Get that out. You know, if someone's bought the set, that's the next progressionary purchase, and we've got the same with the retro set and the blue Mark III in-city coaches. So those next sort of kind of growing stages. Then with railroad, you've got what we sort of see more as the kind of the everyday operating of railroad, where there are a really quite a substantial number of people we believe who are buying into railroad, and they're going straight into sound fitted. So there's a chance that where they are using HM7000 sound and controlling probably through HM7000. So there is it's a kind of more of a mature market in railroad. And I don't mean mature in age. I just mean mature in that they're not essentially a beginner. And a railroad does tick that box because of. It delivers a kind of essentially a sort of an easier to use, potentially simplified model. So then it's about having a kind of a balanced range of what we can put in there and the right number of things, and that's based on sales data. As boring as that sounds, but that is a factor in it because that's a barometer of we know what people want, and then you've got the more kind of qualitative stuff of what people are asking for, what's being mentioned on social media, etc., etc. That's how railroad is built. And then when we get onto 00, with a new tooled model, for example, when we work on that, like what we've done exactly with the Merchant, is that there are a pipeline of models. You know, we don't launch 10 at once and put them out there and cover everything. The approach we take is there will always be 3, 4 at a push, depending on what it is, 5 in the first sort of 12 to 18 months. So they automatically then build a bit of a plan of what you've got kind of coming up.
Yeah.
And then you have are there anniversaries? Are there things going on? Are there, are there people asking for things? Has something changed on heritage railways? Is there something going on which then poses a series of other opportunities? Sometimes it's going to be, well, we haven't actually, made a model of the K1 or whatever it is for a long time. Let's sort of, let's reintroduce it. Let's bring it out because there are people that potentially don't know it exists even. And then you have to then look at the stuff that goes with it. What coaches might someone need for this? And when we do that, we don't think, well, actually, we've got that loco there. We actually look broader than Hornby. Mm-hmm. We don't just think, well, actually, if someone's got that Hornby loco, they're going to need us to do that. If there are coaches from potentially other manufacturers in the market, and we know they're there, and we know a model goes with it, then we'll bring it up, because it's not really all about making sure that it's a one-stop shop. Essentially, it's about making it for railway modelers out there, that if there's things that are potentially missing, regardless of manufacturer or brand, if we've kind of got it, then we'll put it in.
And you've got some goodies in front of you as well, not just the Merchant Navy, Carl, but you've got another sample that you was going to show off as well.
Yeah, I was just it's just a quick update, because this has been in the range for quite some years now.
Yeah.
And we finally got there, which is the I don't know if you can see that on the screen there. Yeah,
the
Finally,
West
perfect
Coast.
parking.
So that-
the Avanti has arrived.
So this is full final sample.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is pre-production sample. Yeah, it's been a long time in the making this, but yeah, we're finally there now. So this has had this has had lots of new parts tooled to make this model, new seating, it's new underframe detail and things like that. So yeah, it's all ready to go into production now. So they're just about to start production.
So how long is that then?
Well, I believe it's pretty
roughly?
quick actually with this model. They've ramped up the production space for this model, and we're hoping for next month to start shipping. So
That's start shipping. So that
Yeah.
obviously
And then we've
just
got-
caveat that
yeah.
that take you stick 2 months on that potentially
Yeah.
to get it all
Okay,
out,
right, yeah. So
complete the
shipping,
production
yeah.
and get it around the globe.
And you mentioned railroad, Martyn, and we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the Class 60. That is
Yes.
a new tooling in the railroad range. So do you want to tell us a little bit more about the Class 60?
Yep. So this is based on we've researched this locomotive. There was some shape inaccuracies with our main range model, small ones, but so we re-looked at it. And we wanted to get the outside of the locomotive actually really accurate and as good as it can be, but also keeping in mind to keep the detail as good as possible, but also keeping it within a certain price bracket. But it does have working lights. It's got brass bearings for the axle, so it's got a reasonable, a good quality mechanism in there. We've got a flywheel on the motor, so it helps with the smooth running. And yeah, it's got all the features you would need really, but at an affordable price.
And there were a lot of railroad announcements in this one, I feel. Is that that is a conscious decision to from a commercial sense?
Yes, no, definitely. Yeah, that's what we plan to do. We're looking to kind of follow trends. I mean, it kind of seems, if you look at a list format or on a web listing format, which is what probably most people have done so far, it looks very long, and the reason for that is with pretty much every model on there, you've got a HM7000 fitted version and you've got a ready version, so that sort of naturally makes it look bigger, and that's because there is a demand for it, and one of the reasons why we do, where we have the opportunity to do, we do a kind of a fitted with sound and a standard, is obviously someone can retrospectively fit a decoder on a ready version, but we're just trying to sort of make it that little bit easier potentially, because just that in mind that people may not want to take it apart. So to give that option there, which we sort of don't do quite so much with the with the main range, but no, it's fully intentional, and we definitely believe there's a space, and we hear this back from people in the market, in the hobby, for a railroad level. So it's kind of one of the many things is about giving people choice. And I think what's kind of great about this hobby now, especially, is that the customer, the model has a lot of choice. They have a lot of choice across brands and whatnot, which was absolutely great, and there's more models than ever. But this also offers kind of things that potentially at those different levels, and that's exactly why we do it. It's not we're doing more of this and less of that in any way, shape or form. It's just making sure that we kind of maximise and do the most to what people want.
Well, I think people were really happy at home that there was more railroad added to the range. So I'm going to give you some questions from the people at home. I'm going to get to some of the questions you've been asking in the live chat, so don't worry, I will get to that. But we're going to go from some of the things that we've seen online. On Instagram, St Saviour's Railway asked, why would you only sell the most relevant A4 in a train set? Why not release the locos separately too? So I presume we're talking about the Sovereign.
Sergeant Wesley,
Yeah. So why would you not sell that separately? I guess.
I mean, the truth is we probably will.
Yeah.
It probably will. Why wouldn't we? It's obviously out of all the A4s to do, it's going to be one of the most famous. It's the one that we selected for the set because it's one that is operational in the UK at the moment. And yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be coming out in month X or even turn it to a year, but it will come out as a solo release.
I think that's the thing when you think about sets. Even that is a big set and very different to some of our other sets. but it's about that convenience in a way. You're getting everything in that as well, rather than you having to think, okay, I want that one locomotive. If someone's coming in, they're interested in that particular era or locomotive, it helps, I think.
Yeah, definitely, and just some background on that set actually, because there have been a few people that have asked. I've seen for questions across on social media, and just for people to get an understanding of it. So train sets have historically been done to a price point. You know, they've been done so they're an attractive thing to get people to enter into this lovely hobby that we all find ourselves in. And obviously sometimes more historical than now, but retail used to dictate on what price point should be as well. So what it kind of meant is that a train set was always going to be the kind of the more basic thing. You know, it doesn't matter to someone when they first, because that's all they know. But for people who are established railway modelers, they're going to see that as generally a bit more basic. But one of the things that we saw when we launched steam generator and we took it to shows, and I don't just mean at model railway shows, but when we were out doing other bits of perhaps more PR things maybe away from the traditional hobby, and there were people seeing this model train, because they didn't know about Nissan scales and brands and that, but it was a model train, and it had this steam effect. And we were either running it around a layout or on a rolling road, and they'd be like, "This is actually brilliant. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, have you got a train set?" No, I haven't got anything like that. But this is really brilliant. I'd love one of those. How much is it? And you tell them, and yeah, they're not the cheapest things because obviously the technology. And for some that's like, ooh, but for many they're like, yeah, I get it. And so if I buy that, what do I need? And you'd be like, well, you need you're going to need to buy a list of things which is this long, which is like doing it as individual components, or you can buy a train set and then take that bit out and put this bit in and plug that bit in. And all of a sudden, you've got someone that was really excited about this great bit of innovation, a great model in front of you, who's thinking, that seemed great, but now this is starting to feel like blooming hard work. You know, I thought it'd be as simple as that, and it's not. And we thought, well, actually, what is the products for that? And that's really where that train set comes from. It is that thing of like, this isn't cheap. This isn't for this hasn't been designed with an 8-year-old child in mind. Yeah. This is going to be the perfect gift. I mean, there might be some 8-year-old kids that ask for it at Christmas, and I apologise to parents in advance. But it's not been designed for that. It's for people coming in that essentially the price point isn't a problem and the technology isn't a problem. It means they've got it essentially all there in one transaction.
There you go. So from Facebook, we've got Ed Hughes asks, why is there a lack of Southern models this year? We always get asked about Southern models, don't we?
Well, well, there's still more to get to announce this year. Not promising anything. But, we've obviously got the clan line, which is.
So a major piece of new touring announcement here is Southern, but I think it's a fine question, because people always want more for their region if they're modelling in regions, and it's not that we are. Actually, you know what? Let's turn the clock back. Actually, 12, 18 months ago, these questions always used to be GWR. You haven't done GWR, and then we brought the Saints out. So we do sort of look to kind of try and cover every region with the right thing at the right time. So there are some Southern things in there, and we will always listen that you want more.
Frankie Jordan asked, will Black 5 45407, the Lancashire Fusilier, be considered for a future release? Everything is on the table, right?
Yep.
It is. I mean, Black 5s, as far as variants go and different pieces, the bits and bobs that are added to them over time, is a very, very complicated loco, and I know with an our tool it's quite extensive.
Yeah. We've got pretty much everything for the Black 5. So, there's only a couple of variants we can't do. So,
Watch this space. Torrin Clements asked, will the bullied Pacific 303 squadron have fully etched plates, and will the locomotive come with any special items?
I'll have to check that one.
I'm guessing they mean sort of, is it going to come with a plaque or something like that?
We haven't finalised all the details about that set. That's why I'm hesitant to confirm anything at the moment.
Okay, so maybe keep your eyes peeled. 00 gauge journey, great announcement yesterday. Do you have an update on the Railroad Class 31 sound fitted model, please?
That is coming into stock in March.
Okay, coming into stock in March. I'll name you by first name, but I'll call you 00 gauge. Rob Wilson, any chance of some buildings this year?
Well, we're not going to say no. We're not going to say yes, but we will say we have more announcements to come later this year. Cryptic answer number 1.
Michael Le Poidevin, It says the Pullmans have interior lighting and table lamps. Is this a tooling update? I thought they just had lamps.
Yeah, just got lamps.
Just got the lamps?
Table lamps, yeah.
Just got the lamps. So if you watch the video, you can blame me for that one. The Sovereign set again. So we're getting a few questions here about the Sovereign set. John Hastings Thompson. Why is it fitted with the Merchant Navy sound profile, according to Rail's website? I assume it's not. Yeah. It's not fitted with the Merchant Navy sound profile, 100%. Presumably, if you wanted to put the Merchant Navy sound profile on there afterwards, you could. But
it's not impossible, is it? Yeah. Why? I mean, that's.
But not out of the box, no. Peter Stanford. There doesn't appear to be flanges on the rear pony truck. Question mark.
On the
Sovereign set.
On the Sovereign set, yeah, because we fit the locomotive with flangeless wheels, so the trailing truck can pass over curves and points. But you do get a flange set of wheels in the accessory pack. So if your layout hasn't got tight curves or you want to display it with flange wheel sets, you can.
Okay, brilliant. I'm assuming this is the question, not the name of the person. What is a steam generator? Does it power the loco, or is it just a fancy name for a smoke unit?
I guess you could say it's a fancy name for a smoke unit, but it's not smoke. It is water vapour.
Yeah.
Steam.
It is steam. Yeah, kind of steam. But no, it doesn't power the locomotive. It's an effect.
There you go. Nick Faulkner. Sovereign set. The blue box branding makes me think of the old live steam 00 stuff. I presume that's deliberate.
No, no, it wasn't at all. Actually, when we and the thing is, let's not forget with steam generator that's been out now. We're in our second year, and the branding for steam generator from a packaging perspective is our standard red box with just an extra logo and information on it. So steam generator doesn't kind of carry its own look and feel, and that box was. We ran through a series of our designer ran through a series of kind of designs which work with the brand, what we're trying to achieve, who it's for, and that was the chosen colour. So there's no direct link or intentional thing to live steam.
Brilliant. Well, that was all the questions we pre-had. So I'm going to answer some of the questions in the live chat, so keep them coming in. So apologies if I'm looking here and not you guys. I'm not being rude, honestly. So there's a lot. When can we expect to see DP1? Now, I'm presuming that's not...
Deltic. So,
yeah.
Right, I can tell you about this. So they're pretty much here, right?
Right.
Hear me out though, don't get too excited. But they're not all here. And they're actually arriving in two consignments. And consignment number one arrives with, if it's not here now, it's within the 7-day window. It's very, very soon. But the second consignment doesn't come in essentially almost for another month. And that's because it's a complex model, factory are making it, and they've got one lot out the door and the second lot. As it is so popular, if we were to look at all the orders that we've got from people that have bought from Hornby.com or people that have ordered from their preferred retailer, there isn't enough in batch one for everyone. So if we were to relaunch what we've got, it would mean potentially around about 30 to 40% of people out there that have got it on a pre-order somewhere would be waiting a month longer than that, and that,
right.
that wouldn't be fair.
Yeah.
So we're holding them back, and once they're all here, it's a minute everyone can get them at the same time. Obviously, that'll always be give or take a day or two because someone's got a bit of postman or whatever.
Yeah.
But it just makes it a much kind of fair. And it's quite frustrating for us because we'd love to get them out the door, and we'd love to be sitting here today and say, look, they're here, and they're coming out. But they're made, and as I say, one pile are almost here, and the others are probably just leaving the factory door now, and if not on a ship already.
It is an impressive model. Yeah. It really is. So you're worth the wait, and you won't be disappointed. There we got Thomas Norg 224. Will Hornby make any modern northern trains soon?
That's a modern northern train. Well, it depends on exactly if it's a particular TOC or whether we're talking about, we're talking Northern Rail, or whether it's something that goes into the northern region. The answer is quite possibly yes, but it would really depend on exactly what we meant by a northern train, obviously, because you can arguably say that an LNER or a Avanti West Coast goes to the north, but so it's a bit of a maybe.
North Tyne Loop. Hi guys, any chance of the Stevenson's Black 5 for the future?
It's too tricky for us to produce. Yeah, the valve gears of it, it's tricky. It's yeah. If you were talking about the special valve gear one, yeah, we did look at it, but it's basically a complete new loco, and you know the models we can get from it obviously is not a high number, so it would require a lot of investment, and we'd really need to look at it from a sort of money perspective really, and if we think it's worthwhile. But if enough people keep asking, then maybe we'll consider it.
There you go. So a few people have been asking about HM7000 and whether there's any kind of new things coming out in that side of things.
So we've still got some developments to do on the app. We are constantly trying to produce more and more sound profiles as quickly as we can. Obviously, we've got what we call the Generation 2 firmware for the steam generator we've been working on to improve steam output and the functions of it. So yeah, still developing, still pushing, and we hope to announce some new features soon.
And what was the thought process behind the Heart and Weave Virginity?
We didn't know anything about it, did we? We didn't know anything about it, and then the team they put it out there, and then the catalogue got printed, and it was all too late. No, just for the record, we didn't ask for it.
It wasn't us.
It wasn't us. No, we didn't ask for it. We knew it was kind of happening, but we didn't ask for it, and I hope it sells, because if not, to be fair, I've got now sorted out what the next year's family Christmas presents are. That's one plus. They're all getting one. Maybe they'll get one for their birthday as well, seeing how things go.
I think you could go through the history of sort of wagons and models and find all the people that have worked here over the years and their surnames and things like that.
There are some real subtle things printed in places that I've heard about. Nothing untoward and rude in that, but there's been. I learned something randomly. I was actually at a kid's party with my daughter, and I got talking to someone. And they said, "So you work on me?" I just knew someone that worked there. And we got chatting, and she said, "Actually, yeah, they're distantly related." But they said, "Yeah, when my grandmother passed away, one of our wagons in a really minuscule thing is actually put like in remembrance of someone on the wagon."
Oh, right.
I actually came and looked. We actually came and looked up the artwork, and you can't see it really on the model that easily. We blew the artwork up, and they had. There's a previous employee that done it. So there are all sorts of little interesting nuggets in there, and it's interesting where you learn about them as well.
Will A85F Productions ask, will there be any future chance to buy the Australian Pendennis castle separately? Obviously, that's a 2-pack.
Probably not.
No.
I can never say never, because you can't look too far into the future, but it's not in our plans at the moment to do it as a singler, only in the
just on that as well, because I don't think it's been mentioned before, but we've actually added the working light onto the front of that locomotive as well. I don't think it's been mentioned anywhere.
Say that again, sorry.
On the castle.
Yep.
We've added the working light,
Okay.
which it run with in Australia. So.
Nice. Any plans for steam generator to be in sort of railroad down the future or anything like that?
Not out of the question, actually, because it's not such. With the price of the decoder, it's not actually a super expensive piece of technology to add. So potentially we could in the future.
I think it really depends on whether it will fit within an existing tool.
I think it would need a new tooling to make it work, wouldn't it?
I think so. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're going to I am, but yeah, I think. But we know that it's not impossible to put it in kids' toys, aren't we?
I'm just going to try and find people. There's a lot of requests for different locomotives and models. So, if you want a list of them, then you can just take this chat. We've only had one mention of the Beatles. Obviously, people at home are big fans of the Beatles.
We normally get the usual kick about the Beatles.
Obviously, we haven't got the artwork currently signed off by licensors, so that's why there was just a big logo on that.
I could talk about it though.
You can talk
I'll talk about it. Yeah, I'll take the risk.
Okay, take the risk.
Okay.
For anyone who doesn't want to hear about the Beatles,
it's subject to approval. The work's done. We just got it. It takes a little bit of time because of the people involved. But the thing I was going to mention is that there is a continuation of the theme of the collectible album cover wagons, which have gone down quite well, which is quite nice, quite consistent with what we've done before. But last year we did the Yellow Submarine tanker, and that went down an absolute storm. So there are kind of a lot of people out there that are the Beetle haters, or at least the Hornby Beetle haters, so to say. That wagon actually outperformed a lot of things. So so for the people that keep saying, "Well, you keep doing the Beetles," there is a reason they seem to work. And we have a new one of the Gov will have it won't be Yellow Submarine, but it'll be using that kind of graphic and style that we do with Yellow Submarines. So putting psychedelic Beetles liveries on wagons actually works. Yes, it might be going around layouts, and it might be for collect market, but the thing with something like this is, not everything is. People want different things, and the way we look at this, if there's an interest in something and people want it, then where we can, we'll make it. This is exactly what we're doing. But if that gets someone into model railways that wasn't into model railways, then brilliant, because the more people into model railways, the better it gets for us all.
Hey Corky just announced a bat boat, so there's something for everyone out there.
Yeah.
Would you ever develop a diesel fume generator for the main range? Now, I think we might have talked previously about you were trying to see if you could get different colours in steam generator and things like that.
Tried to we've tried to colour the water with different chemicals and paints and things, and at the moment we can't make it work, but we can do obviously a water coloured effect that comes out for a diesel, no problem. The next time we do a diesel, we'll probably include it.
Not so spooky guy, is Hart and Weaver a paper mill or a coal yard?
Whatever you want it to be.
Paper mill.
Paper mill, yeah.
Brewery probably.
It's a brewery. Yes,
yeah. Can we have a Black Sabbath loco, please, as a 536? I feel like Nick would not have a problem with a Black Sabbath.
Is that Nick?
Yeah, check it isn't him.
No,
it's not him.
No. Shredder lives on. No Coca-Cola products this year?
Yeah, we don't have the Coca-Cola license anymore, so will be no longer producing Coca-Cola products.
Reese Francis 2402. Why is the new Sir Nigel Gresley plastic boiler, but the other new A4's metal boilers?
Just basically cost. It's very expensive to produce a die-cast model, so in a set it would push the price up.
And that links a little bit in the question earlier about would we do Sir Nigel Gresley again. So the fact that the one in the set's got plastic and the solo ones have got die-cast, that kind of would be another reason why we would.
And more requests for so we've got Iron Maiden wagons. We do them. How about some Iron Maiden wagons?
That isn't off the table. Conversations have been had.
Interesting album covers and metalheads in model shops. That would be an interesting one. Thanks, Night Ferry. I guess it is about how the licence is for those things. Obviously, if you go to Corky, they've got Motorhead and things like that. But I guess it would be cool to see an Iron Maiden locomotive. But there you go, wishful thinking.
Yeah, I mean, let's be careful with that, because there were some things that appeared in certain music videos that we do get asked for, which were sort of particular trains or locomotives. That might be a bit more of a challenge, because it's depending on how real they were or where they come from, or whether we've got the tooling or not. But from like a Beatles treatment of things, that isn't off the table at all.
One thing I noticed recently, I don't know if you have seen Wicked. Yeah, the loco in that's an interesting loco, isn't it? I wonder if it's based on anything. It looks like a streamline.
I don't know what it is.
It's an oriented Starlight Expressy kind of thing. I don't know what loco is. Yeah, it's maybe if they make a real film where they have to film it on a steam engine. And we're talking.
Because he actually has a model version of it in the new one. It turns green in the first one. It's pink in the.
So we'd have to do colour change.
Yeah.
So we now need.
That's
the next innovation. So you'll be able to have a steam loco, and it changes from BR blue into BR green or BR black.
Well, everyone always says you should make a pink locomotive, right? So there you go.
I'm up for that.
Can the Royal Mail coach doors not be controlled internally via DCC nowadays?
They could, in theory. Yeah. They don't on this model, but there's no reasons why something like that couldn't happen if it was deemed the right thing to do.
Transport 272. When will the Railroad LNER Class 800 pack release?
Very, very soon. That and the GWR one are imminent if they're not quite out already. I know it's very, very soon.
someone asking if they'd like to have a long discussion with you. How can they contact you? Best place to talk to these guys, or just shows the best place. To
Yeah, I
talk
mean,
if you've got any
shows is the
questions.
best time to catch us, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're doing the tour.
We're quite a few this year, and just whilst we're on shows, we are people sometimes ask. So to answer where you can meet us, we will be at Model Rail Scotland and Alexandra Palace in March, and then we'll be at Great Electric Train Show in October, and then the Great British Model Railway Show in late October, and then in November we will be at the National again. So we are out on the circuit again this year.
Brilliant. So yeah, make sure you come up and say hello and ask questions to all the other teams. We've got a lot of comments coming in here. Are there any further DMU railroad sound models planned? That's double O gauge journey.
I mean, if it's not in the catalogue, then no, not yet is the answer. But it's something we have spoken about and looked at the viability of and how we might be able to do such things.
We've got some ideas, haven't we? So.
Yeah.
When will the whole trains Class 802 release?
Ooh, I would have to look that up. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, on our website, it will narrow it down to a time of year, but I don't think it's imminent.
Your boy James 9730 is asking about the GBR livery that we announced back end of last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, we kind of said late 26 into 27. Is that still?
I can give an update on that. So it was a great opportunity for Hornby and Model Railways to be kind of part of that announcement, and the fact that the people making the decisions on the big world of railways actually recognise there are little models world of railways as well, and that will happen really quickly. And you know that the livery, which some of you would have seen in press. We had to kind of make that model really quick, and obviously the real thing doesn't actually exist yet. So at the moment we are tracking to the back end of this year, so hoping to have it available for Christmas on our Railroad 800 model, and we're just going kind of a few final things at the moment, like, you know, is what we've modelled, albeit in a prototype form, is that what it is going to look like, and you know, so we'll, you know, what. It's unknown at the moment exactly what the rollout of that livery will be. So we're just tying up those loose ends, and we'll be going to production in the summer and then out hopefully before Christmas as a train pack.
Richard Swiderski asked, will the William Stanner and Nigel Gresley figures be sold on their own? Obviously, if you've seen the catalogue, you will see images of those models. Presumably not.
No, they're not. I mean, and the answer to that is they have been sold on their own and as packs before. We've actually worked with a partner who have produced these, because they're really high detailed figures, and you know, they've been very heavily researched as well to kind of get accuracies down to suit colours and poses and all sorts of things. There's kind of quite a lot's gone into that. But so we won't be selling the figures on their own, but historically and possibly in the future they have been sold on their own.
Will there be any more 00 scale announcements this year?
Yes. So should we try and fix that one all in one hit? So yeah. The plan is, so in April we have our big TT announcement. And then throughout the remainder of the year, so in April we will have another 00 update, and we will in June, and we will in October. They're not a new catalogue, they're not on the sort of scale and size of this. They could include new tooling, they could be sort of bigger in size of things of what they have been before, but that is a kind of a stay tuned, and we will publish soon exactly kind of what those dates are. And so to kind of keep on board with that, however you follow us, if you want to hound us at a show in March, we'll definitely know by then the exact dates. If you're following us on social media, it'll be posted on there. If you're signed up for our email, you'll get to. So if providing you're on one of those, or obviously YouTube as well.
Yes, subscribe.
Oh, there. Wait a second. So all that information will come out. So there essentially are across 00 and TT at least 7 more announcements. I could argue there's 8, but then I don't know if have you got anything planned at the end of this video, Mike, that gives anything away?
No. If anyone notices anything, then maybe, but no. No, I don't. I don't have any dates or anything like that. Although I did like that people were sort of questioning what's in the back of on my shelves. Just for clarification, the things I put on the back of the shelves are just things I like. I'm not saying that I wouldn't like to request a Back to the Future 3 locomotive, but 8 years later, after being here for 8.5 years, it hasn't happened. So,
have you got any kind of sound clips or anything that you're throwing into this video, like you might have done recently?
I mean, if anyone did notice at the end of yesterday's video, or stuck around to see the end, they may have seen a certain appearance from the man who we shall not name.
The man we shall not name and doesn't like to be named.
Yeah.
It'll be very interesting to see whether, did anyone pick up on that? Because Mike actually potentially let something. He didn't let something slip, but he gave out a big teaser. But if no one picked up on it, they didn't pick up on it. I think they did. But
yeah. I think this about keeping that excitement, isn't it? And just it's nice that. We can drop certain things for people at different times, and we can tease sort of little things. So, when I do say that you need to subscribe to YouTube, it is also because you may see things that you didn't see before, or you might get news on something before anyone else. So, so I'm going to kind of wrap it up. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We don't want to get kicked out of the office anytime or get locked in, as much as I'm sure everyone at home would love for us to sit here and do this all the time. We do plan to do this a bit more regularly as well throughout the year, so that not just Carl and Martyn, but hopefully we can get some other members of the team in. We've got a new member of the team who will talk. We were going to have him in tonight, but we didn't manage to, so keep your eyes peeled there. Is there anything you'd like to say to anyone at home, obviously, now that we've got everything out there?
Just one thing, actually, I want to finish up on with the clan line. I saw a comment on a forum where someone was saying that it looks like we've only tooled the Merchant Navy tenders, not Merchant Navy, sorry, clan line tender, but actually we've got a whole suite of tenders we've designed for this locomotive. I think there's 9 different assemblies we've got in CAD for this particular locomotive. So just to be aware, as there's a big future in this suite of tooling. So keep your eyes peeled for future announcements.
I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed the catalogue and the things that we've got coming out. And just as Mike says, do stay tuned, because we have got our 7 announcements to come this year, as well as other contents and bits and pieces, and we have got something more in the toy side of things that we'll be announcing very, very soon, which is kind of quite exciting. So stay tuned, and thank you for listening.
So once again, housekeeping from me. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All you have to do is click. It doesn't cost you anything or anything like that, and it really helps us here, and helps me look good in front of these guys as well when the subscribers go up. But thank you for joining us today, and we hope you've enjoyed this live. Any more questions, comment on any of our videos or anything like that, these guys are always listening. They're always taking your suggestions. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Have a great evening, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I'm just gonna have to wait a minute, everyone, while I change my thing. See.